Hi and welcome all, high or low, butcher baker, tall or small. I am Grimnir and this is the Grimnir Gate. So, my friends, another handful of days gone by dodging the lashes from the whip of the lidless eye, also known as the man. So what better way to lift the morale and find some joy than by raising our horn to the brim filled with ale in the company of fellows. Even the most simple dwelling, like this, the Forsaken Inn, will have to do. Welcome to this week's Tavern Talk. I know it won't be much appreciated by my dwarven fellows, but today I will talk a little bit about the history of these territories and the longshanks, especially since the Lonelands is an important part of their history, and Weathertop is more than an orc-infested ruin, as Captain Nirgrim would put it. But today, to soften the blow a bit, as we are housed by the Forsaken Inn by the Great East Road, I will, just to please my dwarven friends, especially Captain Nirgrim, looking at you, start with a dwarven landmark in the Lonelands. It is not as obvious as other things I will talk about, for example Weathertop or Amon Sül, but it is by far the oldest remnant of these ancient days in these parts of Middle-earth. Most likely, when going through the Lonelands, you will use the Great East Road, and even if it's not what it once were, worn by time and endless amounts of weary travelers, it has been around for quite a while. Laid down by dwarfs as early as the First Age, it stretched all the way from Doriath to Nogrod and Belegost in the long time gone Beleriand. Then from the Blue Mountains to Khazad-dûm and beyond the Misty Mountains to the Iron Hills. If it is old in Middle-earth, it's probably dwarven made. So think about that when riding back and forth between Ust-Guruth and the Forsaken Inn. It is a remnant from the First Age that passes under hoof or foot. Well, enough said about that. Now to the part where I know that at least Captain Nirgrim will stop listening, because I'm going to talk about the longshanks, or the Dunedain of the North, since we are in part that very much connects to the history of them, maybe more their fall than their rise. The kingdom in exile after the downfall of Numenor was led by Elendil to the Gulf of Lune, and late in the Second Age he founded the great kingdom of the North, with the city Annúminas by the lake Nenuyal as its capital. The realm stretched from the Blue Mountains in the west to the Misty Mountains in the east. But this would not last. After the War of the Great Alliance in the end of the Second Age, only one heir remained, Isildur's youngest son Valandil, and he became the third High King of Arnor. The southern kingdom became Gondor and was led by the line of Anarion, youngest son of Elendil and brother to Isildur. This would pass too. The 10th and last king of Arnor, Erendur, left 3 squabbling sons. They couldn't agree on the succession, and all of them wanted to gain control of the Tower of Amon Sül that Elendil had built in the center of the realm, and also the power of the Palantir that was kept there. The kingdom was split into 3, Arthedain, Cardolan and Rodaur, but Arthedain, with the eldest son, kept control of the Palantir along with the 2 other northern stones. So what were these Palantirs, also called Seeing Stones? And why were they so coveted? Most probably crafted long ago by the greatest Noldor and smith Fëanor, who also crafted the legendary Silmarils. 7 of these Palantirs were given to the Númenóreans before the fall. With them you could see far away. With one of them, the Eleftherion stone, all the way to the western lands where the Valar dwelled. But you could also communicate with the other stones. The Palantirs were brought to the shores of Middle-earth by the Númenóreans and were placed at different locations in the realm. 3 in the southern part, 1 in Orthanc in between, and 3 in the northern part. And one of the northern stones was in the Tower of Amon Sül, which means Hill of the Wind in Sindarin. This later became a spot where the borders of the 3 kingdoms would coincide. During internal strife between the 3 kingdoms, a great threat grew from the north. A strange, dark force, led by someone called the Witch King of Angmar, used the discord among the kingdoms, especially between Rudaur and Arthedain, to gain ground. Arthedain, with a new capital in Fornost, saw the rising threat, and for a while they united and kept Angmar at bay. But when the seventh king of Arthedain, Argileb, saw the bloodlines of Númenor vanish in both Cardolan and Rudaur, he tried to regain hold of all three territories. But Rudaur, now secretly supported by Angmar through the hillmen, refused and war broke. Argileb had fortified the border, especially the line along the Weather Hills, with a great bastion at Weathertop. But nevertheless he was slain when Angmar and Rudaur attacked. His son Arveleg, together with Cardolan and Lindon, would counter the attack and secure the borders for a while. But years later, both the king and the last prince of Cardolan fell, as the Witch King besieged and razed the tower of Amon Sül. However, the Palantir was saved and brought to Fornost. The last king of Arthedain, true heir of Isildur's line, was Arvedui, who had to flee north, but his ship was lost, and with him 2 of the Seeing Stones. The once proud and mighty northern kingdom was gone, and Isildur's heirs was now reduced to roamers of the wilderness, led by their chieftain Ararnath. So all these longshanks, Langlas, Strider, Amdir, Lenglin, Saradan, or Candaith, they are rangers of the north. And now we have to finish with 3 quick elf jokes on Captain Nirgrim's request. He is sharpening his axe, so I am not in a position to refuse it. Here they come. What do you call an elven home? Lumber. Why don't elves wear helmets? 'Cause their noses are so high up in the air they'd keep falling off. The only reason dwarven women have beards is because they beat up the elf men and took it from the wee little crying babies. Yeah, thank you, Captain, and see you next Tavern Talk, or maybe even sooner if you watch their adventures in Lone Lands. Bye bye.